Today we'll learn how to calculate the area of some simple shapes. So the area of a shape is the number of squares we can fit inside a shape. So we can fit 15 squares in this rectangle to the side. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So you can count up how many little squares you put in there. However, we don't always want to count up each individual square, so we come up with some formulas based on the dimensions of the shape. Now, the other thing is we're not always going to have a perfect amount of little squares that we can count up. So we really do need these formulas that we've just talked about developing over on the next page. So let's have a look. Area of squares and rectangles. So the area of a square or a rectangle is calculated by multiplying the length by the width. Alright, so here I've got the area of a rectangle is length times by width. Alright, and remember that a square is just a special type of rectangle where every side is the same, so we can just do length times width for our squares as well. But let's have a look at this example. So my area is equal to my length, which is 1.5 times by 0.8, right, and that is equal to, if I multiply them together, put it in my calculator, I get 1.2 meters, and this time I have meters squared. All right, so it's not just centimeters or meters, it's now meters squared. Right, so we need the squared bit in there. Okay, so that's how we calculate squares and rectangles. We just multiply our two sides together. What about, say, triangles? So the area of a triangle is found by multiplying your base and your heights together, and then you divide it by 2. Alright, now this is because a triangle is half of a rectangle. So if we look at this example here, with this little rectangle we've got there, if I did height times by base, and I want to find the area of this triangle, well, I'm just going to cut that rectangle in half. And that's exactly what my area formula for a triangle is. Its area is half of whatever the area of the rectangle was. And the area of the rectangle was our height times by our base. So if I multiply those two things together, right, that means I'm going to get overall the area of this entire rectangle, half it, and I get just the area of my triangle. So overall, the thing you need to know is that the area of a triangle is equal to half times by base times by height. Now, whenever you're asked to find the area of a triangle, you could have a few different forms of what your triangle could look like. It could look like this first one. You might have it being perfectly right angled where the height just goes straight up and it's not slanty. And then you also have this bit here where you have the height is on the outside of the triangle. All right, these are all three different ways of, I guess, representing a triangle. As long as you have the height here, right, so the bit that is going straight up, as long as you have that and you have the length of your base, right, you can calculate the area of a triangle. So let's look at this example over on the side. I have my area is equal to, using my formula, half times by my base was 10, times by my height, which is 6.8. So if I put all of that into my calculator, I get 34. And it is meters squared. Okay, so it's just really important to be able to use your formulas for these types of area questions. Recognize what shape it is, and then substitute all the values you have into the formulas.